say he does this. What? He say he does that. What? He don't do jack. When having your back. Nah. When you need him the most, he doesn't react. On time with this bullshit and still off track. Now it's the time for you to make you better. To know yourself, to grow yourself, to go and
Yo, what's good, everybody out there? Welcome back to the Pod and Chill Podcast. This is episode 6, and we have a special event going on right now. So this is part 2 of part 2 of a 3-part series. This episode is dedicated to the women. So I have all women here with me tonight. What I like to say is I like to give a shout out to Renaissance Townsorium for letting us use our facility once again. Oh shit! It's all right. Somebody tripped over something, y'all. Y'all be fine. Be all right.
Yeah, one job. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
You know what I'm saying?
I understand the assignment.
But like I said, shout out to Renaissance Townsorium. The address is 430 North Prince Frederick, Maryland 20678. That's right, Renaissance Townsorium. That's the only barbershop that you have to say it in Braille to understand. Ladies, how are you tonight?
Awesome.
Good.
Sounds good. Shout out to the ladies.
Raise the roof.
I just had to test it. I just had to test it. I'm sorry. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ladies here. We're missing one right now. But I'm gonna go around the room. You know, we have one reoccurring guest right now. Well, 3 reoccurring guests right now. So I'm gonna start with my left. Over here, we got SANE back in the building.
What's good?
What's good,
How
yo?
y'all doing out there?
Shout out to you. I'm gonna bring the horn down just a little bit. Shout out to you. Beside her, we got my lovely queen, Shima.
How y'all doing?
Really? You gonna be that quiet? You ain't getting the horn if you're gonna be that quiet.
Hi.
Hi. Next to her, we have my sister-in-law, Cheree.
Hello.
You know what, Cheree? I ain't got time, okay? You gotta be louder than that. You from Baltimore. Avenue. You's from Baltimore. I ain't got time for that craziness today, okay? I want you to be a little bit louder, all right?
You want the crazy?
I do want the crazy. That's why you're here.
How y'all doing?
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Oh, I got some shit coming up on my damn. I don't know, real quick. Anyways, like I was saying, next we got Pynk Diamond in the building.
Hey, everybody.
Love it.
That's how you feel? That's all we getting?
Hey, y'all.
That's what I'm talking about. Next, after that, we got Mane Event back in the building.
Hey, peace, love, and hair grease, y'all.
And finally, we have my blood, Peaches.
Good evening, everyone.
All right, now just to let everybody know out there, so this will be my first podcast where I'm pre-recording the video as well. And shout out to Mind of Mark Productions, LLC. They specialize in videography, photography, artist management, and consultation. If you want their number, it is 240-601-8105. Once again, Mind of Mark Productions, LLC. The number is 240-601-8105. Also, another announcement at the Renaissance Townsorium, they are also doing a canned food drive. And so, you know, if you ever drive past, you stop by, make sure you bring a can of corn, something, green beans. Some people like to eat, you know, people out there starving, they can't afford it. So, you know, you got it, you give back. So, shout out to that. All right, ladies.
Hey.
Y'all ready to get into it?
Let's
Go.
do it.
All right. What y'all want to talk about first?
You tell us.
Throw it out, bro.
Let's get it.
Females, especially the ones in America. Tell me something.
Females?
Ladies.
Thank you.
Queens.
Thank you.
Divas.
Yes, sir.
Goddesses.
All of that. All of that. So,
Period, poo.
tell me something. Like, today in America, you know, you ladies, you face very, very difficult obstacles, especially for black women. Like, from your voice, from your mouth, how is it still in the United States for black women?
That is a very loaded question.
Loaded.
Very loaded question. So, in my experience, just speaking on me, don't want to speak for anyone else, but there comes a point in your life where you make a decision for yourself. Do you want to fit the status quo of certain things, or do you want to make something better? But then when you decide to do that something better, you have your own people who look like you, who grew up with you, who spoke to you, who all of a sudden don't want to speak to you anymore because you're doing things to make yourself better, because you are excelling at things that you are naturally blessed to do. And you're not singing your own praises, other people are singing those praises, and you have people that you thought were going to ride for you no matter what, who all of a sudden hate your guts. you have no idea why. And then on top of that, women aren't allowed, black women are not allowed to be weak, to be tired, to be vulnerable. If there is a frustration that we are voicing, it's no longer frustration. It's immediately a label of you are an angry black woman, you're mad, you're entitled, where do you get off? But at the same time, you're raising kids. Sometimes you're raising men, boyfriends, husbands, situationships from broken homes. So you're trying to heal them while working on yourself because you may be a product of a broken home, or there's so many things that, we don't like. Nobody wants a pat on the back and a parade, but a thank you would be nice. Thank you for putting up with all of your stuff, but still finding time to put up with our stuff, still finding time to march, still finding time to protest, still finding time to grease our scalp, still finding time to help us study, still finding time to even stroke our egos, because black women are strong, unapologetically so. However, when we find a man we feel can comfortably match our strong, we know how to pull back and be submissive. But you have to prove that first. You don't get submission just because of your genitalia. So, black women are in a position where we don't have the luxury of presenting ourselves as weak. We just don't have it. So that can be intimidating for a lot of people, which, fine. If you can't handle it, go ahead and eliminate yourself. Go ahead. That's fine.
I dig it.
But every single black woman has that soft spot and that soft point. But we also get tired, and we shouldn't have to apologize for being tired. We shouldn't have to apologize for saying no, not today, not right now.
Okay.
So.
I like that. It's very well put. I really like that. I gotta give you air horn for that.
Yes.
That was really nice. I dig it.
Thank you, lady.
You really broke everything down in less than 10 minutes. That's amazing,
I know.
in my opinion.
Really.
Anybody have anything to back up on that? Or to piggyback on that?
No, it was spoken.
Well spoken. So we got one person tardy to the party, but it's okay.
Hello.
Hey. Hey girl. How you doing? So we just talked about, we're still talking about being a black woman in America and like the obstacles that you guys face and the things that you have to put up with. Miss Dyana, do you have anything that you want to say about that, or any thoughts in your mind that you have in regards to this subject? Put you on the spot? Want me to get back to you?
Yes.
Okay. Pynk Diamond, what you got?
I mean, what Peaches said, I know for me personally, I'm very aware of stereotypes, and I used to always try to defeat those. Like, I'm not what they say we're supposed to be. So I always try to strive to be better than the stereotype.
Okay.
So I push myself in a lot of areas not to become one of the statistics. Unfortunately, sometimes within our community is already set before us, but some of the things that I felt like I could change, I made sure I went hard at that.
Well put. Well put. I dig it. Go ahead, Miss Dyana.
I was trying to look for the correct words to say. I already knew what I was thinking.
That's cool. If you fuck up, we can edit it.
Yes, I mean, obviously, right. They're like the barriers that we automatically have. There's the system. There's this. There's all of these things. They're definitely there. I don't care.
Gotcha.
I personally don't feel like I face too many obstacles that's already been put before me because I don't care. I'm not living up to anybody's standards. I walked away from a very good job. I don't care. I don't play in this society. I don't play by their rules. This shit is all an illusion to me. So this is that with the reality that's out there, that's not my reality.
Right.
So I don't care. I don't care what they're doing. I don't even care what other black people are doing. Like I don't care. I just live in my own world. I create what I want. I figure out what it is I want in my reality, what I don't want. I reevaluate my space consistently, and I just live my life the way I want to.
Hey, ain't nothing wrong with that. There's definitely wrong with that. Just take care of you and yours is basically what I'm hearing.
Pretty much.
Right.
Which I feel like a lot of women, men too, anyone should take on that aspect, you know. Realize that it is your choice. You have a choice of you running your space or how you want to handle certain situations, and just go for it. Just go for it.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a statistic to know what's going on with society.
But you wanna know what's weird? Like I'm not gonna say my age, but I'm on the back half of my 30s. You know, I went to college, got a master's, working on my second master's. Like to me, like I'm killing it, but you know, you get family members and you get friends. And when you gonna have babies? When you gonna, like, a child is my crowning achievement as a woman, as a black woman. Like, sure, if it comes and if it happens, I wouldn't mind having a kid or two. But that's not my goal. My goal is when I pass, for whatever reason, nobody has to do a fish fry or a cookout or a GoFundMe to pay for my arrangements. And unfortunately, a lot of us women, men, whatever, black people as a whole, that's where we are. We put a lot of stock financially in things that don't matter. When you can, a cup of Starbucks a day will literally pay for, you know, things that happen when you go on. But it's very frustrating that, you know, the educational achievements, not that I want the high fives or the celebrations, but don't make my crowning achievement pushing out a kid. You know, that's very frustrating for me as a woman, as a black woman. And then to be told, you know, oh, well, you don't have to have a husband. You can just have a baby. Like, why would I purposefully bring a next generation into a situation that's already broken?
Because that's what they're used to.
Exactly.
But that's why I say I don't care what other black people are doing. I literally don't care.
Right.
Like I don't care what anybody is doing because everyone's gonna always have an opinion. You can if you consistently and constantly go to live up to what someone else's standards are, you will never live your own life.
Period. So
I don't care. If you're telling me to have a baby, I don't care. I don't care what you're telling me to do. It does not bother me because I crown myself. You cannot wait for anybody to crown me.
That's it. But it's still frustrating that people still see a child or motherhood as your crowning achievement as a woman. Never mind, you know, multiple degrees, owning a business, making six figures, going on vacation 4, 5, 6 times a year and getting that quote, must be nice. You know, never mind all of those things. All those things are negated. Just have a baby. Like, I'm sorry, what?
I don't see how people can push having a baby onto anyone because that's not an easy job.
Stay out of my uterus.
Yeah,
Period. Like,
exactly.
Stay out of it.
yes.
Being a parent, especially a woman having a child, that is not easy because when you are with someone, that person can, you know, a lot of men, not all, but a lot of men can choose whether they want to stay or,
Right.
you know, or to go based on they feel like this is not for them or they looking for something better. as a woman, you have to be a mother regardless. You have to have your child regardless. I know there's some deadbeat women out there who don't.
Yes.
But for the most part, as a woman, you have to have your child. And that's not an easy role for anyone to try to push that on anyone. Especially if you are not ready, do not do it. Take your time. It is nice to have, to be married first. Having that single, it's not easy. It's not easy. So someone who's telling you, hey, you don't have to have a husband, don't listen to that. Because that's just something that a lot of us have been used to. It doesn't make it the right way. You know, not being married makes it, yeah, the right man. I mean, that's the way you would want to go, being married first, but it doesn't always work like that. It didn't work for me like that. It didn't happen like that. It would have been nice, but it didn't. You know, but I still had to take care of my business as a woman and as a mother. So don't let anyone push motherhood or parenthood, anyone, men and female.
But even having a husband doesn't guarantee that man is going to stay.
Right.
Yeah, true that.
But it's about the kids.
Right.
For
It's
sure.
not even about whether he's staying, she's staying, who it's all. Having kids should be totally about the kids. It should be about who, making sure you are, even if you're married, you're parenting together. So making sure that person that you parent with is going to make sure you have a conducive environment for your kids. It's everything about parenting is geared for the kids. So don't go, when you're looking for a partner, you shouldn't necessarily be looking for a partnership for you. If
Right.
you're going to see that person as a parent, you look for those qualities as well. You can't just look for one and not look for the other, and then get the other and then be like, well, he was a wonderful husband, but oh my God, how isn't he a good father? Because you didn't look at him as a father. You just looked at him as an intimate spouse for yourself. And so you're going to get surprises all the way around the board if you handle it like that, just looking for a partner for yourself.
That is so true.
That's a fact. Man, I gotta get to you for that one. But you know, when you ladies talking about like children and things like that, something else came to mind as well. About, you know, if you, for example, had a one night stand, and not even just a one night stand, but you know, you didn't want to get pregnant, but all of a sudden you got pregnant. Now, there's a lot of people, men and women, that agree and disagree about, you know, it's the woman's choice to have the baby or not have the baby. And as far as like the men, they're like, well, I'm not ready. What do you guys think about that? Yeah.
So
It's a very, it's in my opinion, a very, it's complicated, but it's not complicated.
it's touchy, but it's not complicated.
Right.
If you're not ready for children, this is 2021. There's spermicide, there's condoms, there's
Right.
Plan B.
Right.
Like, there's no excuses for me. So, if you weren't ready, then you should have strapped up, wrapped up, and 2 pumps of spermicide and made sure, you know, that wasn't a thing. So, once the baby is there, you know,
So you're against abortions?
well, situationally. Because, you know, I feel like in extreme cases like incest and rape and things like that, like, you know, I'm not going to be the one to force somebody to carry something that they absolutely hate and that reminds them every day of their assault and trauma for 9.5 to 10 months. That's just inhumane. However, abortion is not an alternative to birth control.
No, it's not.
Your uterus is not a grave site. If you can't handle not getting pregnant, stop having sex. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, element of P abortions is redonkulous. Period. If you can't make him put on a condom, if you can't use a female condom, I will show you how to insert one, sis. It's not difficult. If you don't want to take birth control and you don't want to do what you have to do, stop having sex. Stop going for the pleasure and avoiding the responsibility.
Sounds good to me.
So I know you said that people not gonna agree with what you have to say.
I say a lot of women don't like what I have to say.
And that's free, you can freely talk
For
about
me,
that.
it's like, okay, directly to your question about whose choice is it, right? Everyone has their choice. No one gets more of a choice than another. Just because one person's choice is in alignment with the other does not make anyone right and wrong. Because if you write pros, and I also mean him walking away and deciding he don't want to be a father. That's what I mean. If a man tells you, I do not want this kid, and you say, I do, remember the I part. Don't be sad and somber and talking about, oh, I'm tired, I didn't do this by myself, but you had a choice. Don't run chasing behind somebody, trying to force a child on them that they don't want. All of that. You have a choice. You have a choice.
Right.
But understand that with every choice, there's a consequence.
Right.
So it's everybody's choice. If the woman decides she wants to keep it, she can. That's her choice. If she decides she wants to abort, that's her choice. I am 100% pro-choice. Nobody has a right to say, you can get an abortion if this is my body, mind your business, I can do what I want with it, you deal with your transgressions when you get to the gate, and I'll deal with mine. So I believe everyone, has a right to their own choice. People do many things for many reasons, and it is none of anybody's business to play in anybody's flaws.
Right.
Because everyone has their own. But everybody has a choice. He can decide to be there. He can decide to not be there. Everybody has a choice.
Right.
So sex is a sensitive and sacred thing, and people should just start seeing it as such.
Let's start there. Let's start
People
there.
should start
Yes.
seeing it as such.
Yes.
But it's sex everywhere.
Let's start
Sex
there.
is
All
even
around
in the
this
food.
motherfucker.
Like, there's so many sex hormones in the food.
Yes.
So yes, we can say all of that, but the reality is there's a bigger picture at hand that kind of counteracts the whole let's be abstinent thing. You can be very strong. You can do it. But the reality is it doesn't happen a lot. So I don't know. Just be careful with who you choose. Let sex be a special thing
Because
from
them
the
soul
get.
ties are real.
Yes.
So
And
let me
yes.
let me say this. So with that being said, about everybody having a choice. So that woman decides to have the kid, but the guy doesn't, right? Does she have the right, or does she have the say to call him a deadbeat father?
Again, what's right and what's wrong? He chose not to be there. That's his choice, and I guess this is right. Doesn't make him any less of a deadbeat.
Right.
He still had sex, like she had sex. He knew all the consequences.
Right.
Too. No one gets to say, you don't get to have sex with somebody unprotected, ejaculate in them, and then say, you trapped me.
Exactly.
You don't get to say that. You don't
Right.
get to do that. So, and that's what a lot of men consider entrapment. Them having sex with someone, that person getting pregnant. Now, some women do entrapment, but I'm talking about a lot of men consider you not wanting to have a child trapped.
Right.
You're not trapped. That's not trapped. Somebody going the extra mile, somebody making it premeditation.
Right.
That's
turkey
trapped.
basters,
But
yes.
That's
it's
fucking
not trapped
psychotic.
when you was just having sex. And also, him saying that he doesn't want that child and chooses not to be there physically doesn't exempt him from child support.
Boom.
Does not.
Right.
That's the reality.
Right.
You don't have to be there. You don't.
But you
don't
gotta pay
have-
some.
but
You gotta
pay,
contribute.
bruh. Yeah,
Okay.
we had fun together. We gotta clean up for this party. 18 years.
That's right.
We gotta pay for this.
That's right.
So he can choose. I'm not gonna be there physically. Okay, but this still will be. This is your consequence. This is your end of the deal. When you have sex with someone, it is a verbal contract.
He still has a responsibility.
It's just there. It ain't even verbal. It's just
all-encompassing.
It's a contract. It's an automatic contract that anything can happen in this moment and I'm game. That's what you're saying.
That's right.
Right.
Anything can happen in this moment and I'm game.
Okay. I
I
dig
love
it.
that. I absolutely love that. Yes, ma'am.
You dig it. Everybody agrees. It sounds like.
Definitely.
Yeah, I agree.
And you know what's crazy? One of my topics tonight was child support too. So I mean, we can go ahead and swing into that since you brought it up. Child support. I'm a voluntold member, just like you guys know. So they my kids. I love my babies. The big ass chunk of money, but hey, I knew what I was getting myself into. So it is what it is. But As far as child support, when do you feel that it's necessary?
Always.
Always.
And it doesn't have to be court ordered.
Mm-hmm.
Like I do feel like the bulk of the complaints from men on child support literally are the $1.25 a month and the paying just to stay out of jail and your $30,000-$40,000 in arrears because you're not taking care of your business. That is the bulk, in my experience, of the people who complain. I know people who pay $500-$600 a month in child support on time every month and have no issues with it and get their kids as often as they want. My issue comes in with women. We have a kid, we're together, things don't work out, you move on, now I'm pissed off, now I'm putting you on child support because you moved on.
Is it being bitter?
Now, that is a bitter baby mama.
Okay.
This is Peaches saying, if you are doing that, you are a bitter baby mama. Period. Come see about me if you have a problem with it. However, this man has been doing for his child, regardless, without a court order, without any issues. Now you take him to court, you try to drag him through the mud. He doesn't do this, he doesn't do that, knowing full well that this man does all he can and more for his kids or kid. Now, on the other side of that, you have the man who's like, I didn't want her to have no baby. Well, if you didn't want her to have a baby, then you should have wore a condom. And you should have used spermicide. So we're beyond that point. The baby is here. The child should not suffer the mistakes of the parent.
Yeah, it's a lot of armor.
Ever. Because that is a heavy burden to bear as a child. Trying to figure out, A, why your daddy's not around. B, why you can't get certain things because everything is solely reliant on mommy's finances. And when you don't come through every month, that matters to a child. Like people say, oh, well, I'm paying for my child. I'm not paying for electricity. Don't your child live inside? Do they or do they not need electricity? And if you feel some type of way about your child living with mom and mom using $100 to pay the light bill, take your child in the house. Take them for 1 month and see exactly how much you spend on your child in 1 month without any assistance from mom. Then come holler at me, bruh. Until then, pay your child support and shut the hell up. And again, you can come see me too. We can have a very long conversation. It's not a problem. But I do feel like the majority of men take care of their children without child support. However, the highlighted portions are always going to be the negatives. The negatives are always going to stand out, no matter how sparse, above the positive, because that's the narrative that people want to push, right? So you're not going to see the dads on Mother's Day cooking dinner with their child and, you know, mom and dad aren't together, but he still comes over and cooks with the kids anyway and decorates the house, makes it real cute and pretty. You're not going to see that. You're going to see the, well, she don't do nothing for me for Father's Day, so I ain't doing nothing for her Mother's Day. And that's like maybe 2 out of the 100 people that we're talking about. So just to circle back, child support is necessary, whether court ordered or not. It's necessary from both parents.
Okay.
Well, I'm actually dealing with a bitter baby mama. My bitter baby mama. You know, he's the father of my child, but he acts like a bitter baby mama, you know. And he put himself on child support, not him actually going to the court and saying, I want me child support. But he was so bitter that he kept taking me to court. Kept sending me all types of documents to take me to court. He was going to the court office and saying, he was making some excuses about me and my oldest son, only because he did not want me moving on. And he would tell me, you know, you don't want me no more, you don't want us, you're doing all this, and this is going to affect our son, and my son needs us both together in order to, for him to be successful in life. But he was so toxic, I had to leave that situation alone. But he was doing everything in his power to try to destroy me. Why? It's so many things. It's crazy. But we had to go to court, and it didn't work in his favor. And so we ended We had to do, of course, who's the child going to be with. We had the guardian Liam come to the house, come to our house. His house, he was living with his mother.
Ooh.
And of course, that automatically was, okay, he has no stable place
Right.
to be.
Shit.
And
Man in
so
Black
my
came,
son-
everybody got there, okay.
And
Priest.
so my son, of course, with me, because I have a home for him, he has his own room, you know, all that. And it came to where, okay, well, he's gonna be living with the mother, now child support. That's what the judge did, you know? And he put himself on it, you know, that's just what happened. Now, you would think, first of all, it's not even 500, but you would think that I am hitting this man's head. He is bitter, he is mean, I am all types of bitches. I think I've been called every bitch in the book. It doesn't faze
That's
me.
crazy.
I just be like, yeah, I know I'm a bitch. That's I know. And it's just so. Some people just do it to themselves. It's not necessary. Even we speaking about him just giving me a certain amount each month, and I was on my way. I don't care. But he kept being bitter, and it just bit him in the ass. And now I'm like the worst mother. Not even worst mother. I'm the worst woman ever.
For moving on.
Yes.
Pynk.
From moving on. Yes.
I have a question. What about to those ladies, to those women that get child support already, but they come back and say it's not enough? What do you say to those ladies?
So is it really not
I
enough?
would say, is it really not enough?
Let me give an example. Let me give an example. If the dad is paying $1,200 a month in child support,
Where is he working?
I mean,
This is the FBI.
if the dad is paying over $1,000 in child support, right, and the mom comes, the kid's mother comes and says that's not enough, you got to help me out. Like, what do you say to women that's getting that type
Make it
of
enough.
cash a month?
Thank you. Because I
Make
have
it
dealt
enough.
with that too.
Say, what was the response?
Make it enough.
Okay,
I think
because
it all
I mean,
depends. I think it all depends.
Yeah.
I feel like
It's about money factors are many different things. I have been a single mother for my daughter's about to be 14. My oldest is about to be 14. It all depends. Kids are very expensive.
yes.
When you don't have your kids every day, you do not understand how expensive they are. And when you look at it, you see a big lump sum coming out, but that is going between two people. What are those two people doing? So those expenses can be easily broken down. And also too, time gets factored in. Because if I have these children more than you do, I want more money. That's just the bottom line. If I have these,
when you go to court, they're looking at time.
they are looking at time, so if you do more time, you will pay less. So if you have a issue with time, get them more during the week.
Get your babies
So
home.
what if
Doing more during the weekend, that you have to put in more time if you want your expenses to get taken down. It's just a harsh reality.
So if the court has you already went to court, and the judge has made his decision, this is what you're going to get. You're going to have the kids every other week. You're going to have them majority of the time. This is where you work. This is where she works. All right, give me your expenses. Give me your funds. And then he makes the calculations on that. So he's already putting the whole, okay, the time, your funds, and everything. He's made the decision on how much money that person should be taking out of his check. Once that is given, I don't feel like there should be way more than that. It depends. I don't think.
No, see,
$1,200 is a lot of money.
Yeah, but
That's a lot of
and then
money.
especially if you, as a mother, you making a nice amount of money. What are you doing?
But I feel like it's circumstantial though, because let's
Right,
say
and that's what
I
I'm saying,
have
it's
like 2 or 3 kids, I'm getting $1,800 a month split between those 3 kids. You know, I don't have kids, so let's just play with the numbers. But let's say Jimmy wants to do football. His equipment is going to be $125 on top of everything else we have to pay. Annabelle, yes, I said Annabelle, don't judge me. Annabelle wants to do ballet.
she must
So
be
she's got to
Cherokee.
buy the gear, the shoe. Well, she wants to do dance class, so she's got to buy ballet uniform. She's got to buy jazz, tap, all these other things. And then Susie Q, she wants to be, you know, in the STEM program. So we got to buy telescopes, microscopes, beakers, Bunsen burners, all these other things that are not accounted for in that original amount when we went to court and they said, this is what I give you per month. I don't feel like, as the mother of your child and as your, you know, your kids, if they want to do this thing, we need to sit down as adults, split this thing down the middle and make sure it happens.
Have a
So
conversation.
you have to have a conversation.
Yes.
Have a conversation.
Yes.
Have a conversation
But
as well, not just that.
Just
But saying it's
just
not
like,
enough.
I need more money.
Right. You need to tell
And
me
then you
why.
need
Have a
to speak
conversation.
to
For
that,
sure.
that other individual and say, this is what our child wants to do beforehand.
Yes.
What do you think, here's are the experiences that we're going to have to come together with. How do you feel about this?
Right.
And that's
Because
if you
when
can.
you- yeah.
If you can have a conversation.
That's if you
Because
can.
some people you can't have a conversation with.
Yeah, it
But
has
if
to
you're
go through
able
court,
to have
right?
a conversation with the other parent, then do that.
Because you shouldn't even be in court.
No.
Yeah.
Nobody should
Okay.
be in child support. Child support is a system. It is a whole system, and it is designed against us, literally.
Absolutely.
You should not have the white man in your business. And I'm being dead serious.
I
We
feel
should
it.
not have them in our business. We should not have them in our finances. And we should not have them in our households at all. So if y'all can avoid court, that's really what it should be about.
Right.
And again, you gotta know who you lay down with
Yes.
before you do it. You gotta talk about parenting. You gotta talk about those things. Because if you know who someone is before you have children with them, even if that relationship failed, I promise y'all will flourish as parents and be good friends. If you know that person before you have kids with them or before you marry them, whatever, if you actually know them, I promise you, y'all will be okay. You will be. So that's really what it goes down to. Because I don't want to stand in front of a judge and him telling me what I'm gonna get for my kids, what I'm gonna do.
Literally,
I
what
don't
your
need you in my
child is
business.
worth.
You don't need to tell me
Right.
that. You don't need to tell me, and I don't want you telling this black man what to do. I don't want you telling none of us what to do. Mind your business. And that's just how I feel. So yes, you should be staying out of it altogether, but for the sake of child support, like you said, it's all calculated in. So if you put more time in, the price will drop. So it is based on this system, but it's also based on circumstantial. So you shouldn't be getting a whole lot of money. And if you are getting that type of money, your lifestyle should reflect it. The kids' lifestyles should reflect it. You should be reflective of your kids. And if it's not, then that's a problem. But other than that, it's just like that's reality. Because I know this for a fact. I have many friends that do many different things. I have many cousins do many different things. When that time is split in half or split more, there's really no money being exchanged even between them. But so it's just based on, really, honestly, it's based on time. That's really what it's based on. Because when that time is being split, no parent can get anything. Well, I've seen, like my cousin get, $75 a month based on a couple of days that she had her daughter prior to the end of the summer. And the whole summer her daughter leaves. So her daughter leaves about 92 days, I think, out of the year. So, based on that, and then the kids are on the father's health insurance. So, all of that just lowers it. So it just goes back to you better know who you're sleeping with. That's just the bottom line.
Yeah, I say the child support laws, coming from a man, I feel like sometimes it's a pretty tricky situation. For example, like, when my ex-wife, she had went to Iraq, and I had my children that whole time. I still had to pay child support. And it was a bad part of my life where I was still trying to get myself together. I had lost my job, all that stuff. And I tried my ass off, just to make up for that. Turns out I was, $5,000 in arrears. But the thing about it is I had to go to court, and I explained to the court what was going on, and they didn't even know she deployed.
And the kids was with us.
The bad part about that is, even if they knew, I still would have had to pay.
Oh,
But
Which is crazy.
it's fucked up. But fortunately, my ex-wife, she was like, well, I was deployed. I'm sorry I didn't tell, blah, blah, blah. he had the kids the whole time. And yeah, she was sending some money back. But the good part about that was they just cleaned the $5,000 debt that I had and refunded me a check.
That's awesome.
I was like,
Very well deserved.
I was like, man, I must be the first black man in history to get a check refunded for child support. Shit, I went out for drinks that day. Fuck that. But yeah, I mean, child support can be a very, very, very tricky situation. So
Especially when people abuse it.
Yeah, my
And
brother
that's
was
what it
paying
comes down to.
$800 a month for his one child, and the order was supposed to be every other weekend. She got her $800 a month, but she didn't adhere to the every other weekend. He was getting him all during the week. He was getting him any time he came based on his schedule, and it was consistently in the line. And he was over there for weeks. He never took her back to court. Never did anything. You know, she could have easily been an honest woman. You know, she could have been. She had no business even putting him on child support. It was just all the payday for her. So everybody.
and my thing is too, for the men out there, if you're going through something that you can't afford, but you trying your ass off, try to pay that child support, speak up. Don't say anything until it's too late. I mean, I'm not going to say I'm pretty sure, but if the woman is understandable, she's like, okay, I get it, you know, but you got to get your shit together. That's basically how I see it. Like you said at the beginning, I mean, it's your responsibility. You have a child, it's your responsibility. I know you're going through something, and I hope you get through it, but speak up. If you can't afford the payments right now, speak up. Say something.
Say something.
Because if you don't say anything, they can take your passport. That shit will go on your credit. Like, you can't go any damn way. License, all of that. I was in court and I seen a dude. He just got out of prison. He was in prison for 12 years and he was $80,000 in arrears.
Dang, he going back.
Man, I almost cried for him. But it's crazy, you know. And the bad part about it was I listened to a story and he was like, you know, I was an aircraft mechanic. They laid me off. I couldn't find work, so the only thing I had was selling drugs. He was selling coke, heroin, pills, all that. He got caught and went to prison. And how can you pay child support if you're in prison? So,
The thing
you know.
that makes me so angry about this, because they don't care about the kids. They just want your child support money to filter in their system and go in their bank. They feeling like you owe me money.
Right.
They don't even care about the kids. The system cares about the system.
Yeah, shit is crazy. That system is very, very,
That's
very
too
wicked.
long. I feel like that's too long.
Yeah, that's
Well, they throwing, they throwing you in jail for that long for some selling drugs.
Yeah, he was selling
Now,
everything.
granted, disclaimer, we are not endorsing selling drugs.
Absolutely not.
They trying to make an example. out of
Absolutely
everything.
not.
That's ridiculous.
I do not sell the crack. Okay? Yeah. Child support can be a very, very, very tricky situation sometimes, not all the time. Depends on the situation. But before we move on to anything, I did find this article. I'm going to revert back real quick about like black women in America. I did find this interesting article with black women in regards to corporate America. Let me read this off real quick. So the title is Study Highlights Barriers Black Women Face in Corporate America. This is courtesy of philanthropynewsdigest.org. So it says, black women in corporate America are less likely than their male or white colleagues to be promoted or to receive the support and access they need to advance despite being just as ambitious, a report from the Lean In Foundation finds. Based primarily on data found from Lean In and McKinsey and Company's annual Women in the Workplace study, the report, The State of Black Women in Corporate America 2020. Found that African American women who seek promotions at the same rate as white men are only 58% as likely to be promoted to a managerial position and only 64% as likely to be hired into such positions. At a disadvantage from the beginning of their careers, black women see the representation gap continue to widen, end up accounting for only 1.6% of vice presidents and 1.4% of C-suite executives, while the white man hold 57% and 68% of those positions.
You had to research this?
Okay.
I mean,
I did. I researched it for the numbers.
no,
They.
for the article.
Oh, they.
Because
You can walk in any office building.
That's a
you could
fact.
have just told them that. That you didn't have to research that.
Out of all the jobs I had, I probably seen one vice president that was a black woman, and I had plenty of damn jobs. But I mean, they need more of y'all in that joint.
They definitely do, and it is rare to see somebody
Yeah.
of color, a woman of color, at the top. You know, so when I do see it, I'm like, oh wow, I'm so proud.
But even
Yes.
when we do, they still pay us less. Find a way to pay
Yes.
us less.
And the
Yes.
harassment
So-
that the women receive. So this is my thing.
Speak on it, sister.
We need to stop playing this game with those folks. You're going to let your neighbor knock on your door and say, hey, I just invented a hopscotch game. Come on, come play it with me. You don't know the rules, because whatever he wants the rules to be, he will change them. If you get closer, he will change them. And it's his game, and he invented it, so he can do it, because you don't even know how to get in there and be a part to change the rules, because it is his game. He has the patent to it, he has the copyrights to it, he has everything, and it is his game, and he never played it for you to win it. So why are we continuously putting ourselves into their environment and wanting to be treated better? Why do we want a seat at their table so badly? It is a disease to me. It is a mental illness. It is a sickness. Acceptance is a sickness. Black people wanting to be accepted by society is a sickness. It is weird to me, and we need to stop. It is making us sick. We are neglecting our households. We are neglecting ourselves. We are getting nowhere. There are a couple of us getting paid more, and it looks a little better, and we learned how to grind a little more, and we are not there, and we will never be there. As long as you play in their game. I hate when I see an article that says, oh, the first black woman that killed, yay, and everyone's so excited, and I'm like, that's disgusting. You as a black person think you made it because you got accepted to a PWI? That is disgusting. That is disgusting. Why are you still calling yourself a proud black person? Why? Because really, you're only striving for what they put out. That's what you're not looking to be proud of who you are. Because if you was looking to be proud of who you are, you would never touch that game. You are looking for them to accept you. You are what I will see. I have been in a car with my friends, pull up next to an elderly couple. If they black, they'll keep their music down. They loud, they'll be like, oh, let me turn down my music because these white. What the fuck? You respect them? More than
You can cuss on the damn podcast. You ain't gotta be
Oh,
that.
no, I wasn't. I just
okay.
didn't say, like, you respect them more than you respect you.
Right.
When I come into my grandmother's community, Northwest DC, I turn down my radio. When I go through Montgomery County, I blast thought shit. Fuck them.
That's what I'm talking about.
I don't care. I don't care. I respect my people first. And I definitely respect me first. And I'm not going nowhere into no office in knowing that I'm going to receive abuse, knowing that I'm going to be disrespected, that I'm not going to be looked at the same, that they're going to have office parties in their houses that they don't invite me to, that I'll get invited to one part, but they'll get invited to the other part. I know all of the treatment that I'm getting. I know that I'm going to bust my ass. I know I'm going to be micromanaged. I know that everything that I do is going to be like, it's going to be like cute. Right? I know that I'm always going to be seen as the token. I know that I'm this. I know all of these things. What the fuck? Who are you trying to prove a point to?
Right.
Who are you trying to prove a point to? Them.
Who are you trying to seek validation from?
Them.
Right.
Them.
Question.
So that's really what I read. When I read stories about the black women in the office, I don't feel sorry for them. And My whole family pretty much like works in, I'm like the rebel of everywhere. So my whole family like works in like the corporate, even when I worked in, I mean it wasn't corporate, but you know, it's the medical field, the hospital. Like I always got stars from patient relation to it. My employee relations always fucking sucked. I am not a good worker.
Honesty.
She is, as someone who was working with her at the hospital, she's a great worker. She's a great worker, especially with the patients. She was on top of it. Like she's one of the top knowledgeable person that was there. One of the top. But when it came to co-workers,
I don't play well with others.
She's still good, but she put people in their place quick, whether it was employee or management. Like she was.
Because I don't carry around that stereotype with that complex. I don't turn like that. I don't care about being the loud black girl. Bitch, I am loud. I'm lit. What do you mean? And I'm still smart, and I'm still all of those things, and I don't have no points to prove to you. So I'm okay with being me.
Now I have two questions. I'm going to revert to something. Well, not revert, but I'm going to switch something up real quick. SANE, you being a part of, you know, the LGBTQ community, do you see something from a different perspective? Do you get the same treatment from, you know, as a straight woman would? Or is it different? And if so, can you please explain?
Like I have to be. I'm professional anyway, but I have to be more professional. I have to talk with the, you know, hi, and a little bit more, you know, I mean, a little assertive when I talk, when I come into their presence. Even when I dress, like, you know, I dress like, you know, young man. But you know what I'm saying? But like, I definitely have to just be on my P's and Q's. Like, they can say anything they want to say, anything. They can sexual harass the shit out of you. You can't say nothing too much because they were like, oh, likely. So speaking of this happened to me. I want to say maybe 3 years ago at my job. It was like, so I work in the hospital, of course, and we was dressing up it was Halloween. So I dressed up like a little cowgirl, I had my cowboy hat and whatever. My own, I'm gonna say it, I don't care. My president, the CEO, came up to me and was like, oh, so are you a cowboy or a cowgirl? Literally.
Completely inappropriate.
Completely inappropriate came to me. And I was like, what, how, like, I just have a cowboy hat. What is that? What does that mean? Like, why are you coming to me, talking to me like this? Oh, I just wanted to know. You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy.
So like,
That's crazy as shit, bro.
you know what I'm saying? So I was like, technically, I'm a girl. I'm still female.
Right.
Just cause like I like, you know, the same does not mean that I am trying to be, you know, more. I was like, I'm a cowgirl. Oh, I would just wanted to know, cause like, you know, cause you remember that? Cause like I was so pissed, cause I was like, I'm a cuss. How the fuck are you gonna come to me when I'm actually working to fucking stop me and ask me what I am?
Especially with the line of work you know in, like, we're in a hospital, bro.
And then when I said something to him, like I was like, so like I said, how would it feel if I say, are you being a dick today? I said it just like that. He was, I didn't mean to say that. I didn't mean to go. And he was like, please don't report me. Like, I literally was like, oh, like,
I was just
yes,
about to
yeah.
I am a Karen. My best friend know I am the biggest black Karen. I will report your ass. I am an emailing motherfucker. I CC mayor offices. I find CEOs. Bitch, I will find your mama's personal email. I am the biggest fucking Karen. And I will be the biggest deal. I will cry. Oh God, I will go to church and have my fucking pastor, and I'm not even Christian. I will go to
Light
church.
the candles.
I will go to church and have my pastor contact the fucking CEO. I mean, I am a bitch.
Because they'll do it to you at the back of the head.
And you know what's crazy? Like but my charge nurse heard him say it. She pulled me aside. She was like, "Are you okay? I heard everything. I'm gonna go talk to your director." Da 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 da. white woman, of course. Like, but I was just like, damn, it's crazy. Like, you heard it, you was appalled. You know what I'm saying? I was like, thank you for standing up for me. Because anybody else would be like,
Well,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
he's the boss.
You know what I'm saying?
He's
He's
the
the boss.
boss.
Let me make it very clear. From being, like I said before, being in human resources for 6 years and then switching over to the floors to work on the unit, a lot of upper class in those positions, they do not expect you to talk to them any type of
Exactly.
way.
Right.
And they do get away with a lot of stuff. But know that there are rules, there are policies that everyone has to follow. No one is exempt from
That's
it.
right.
So regardless of what power they hold, and they will throw it in your face of what power they hold and what you can go against that. Don't ever feel intimidated, because that's what they think. I can say whatever, you're not going to really do anything to me. Look at what my position is.
So
You're
we
not gonna
had
say
that conversation with her, and I was like, you need to lawyer up
You
ASAP.
can
Oh,
say,
that's the thing about
Yeah.
me. I'm contacting my
go
lawyer.
against them
Yes.
and try them. Try
Yes,
it.
you would have had a whole wing of that hospital. All
Yes.
the babies would have been coming through. Look, they'd have been coming through same
They
prenatal,
would,
same NICU and this Mickey flick. Cause yeah,
See, that's a part of what I'm saying about creating your reality.
Right.
You demand respect, no matter who it's from everybody. My grandmother is 94 years old. She respects me. I demand respect from everybody and at every moment, because I'm going to respect you.
Right.
And if you show me the game, I'll show you how it's played. So if you fucking disrespect me, I will make you regret that shit.
come on,
See, that's right.
Create your reality. Don't walk in the room feeling like
you don't belong now.
I am a butch, lesbian, black woman, so I have to be this. You can be whatever the fuck you want to
That's
be.
right.
And at any moment that you want to change what you want to be, you can be that then. And then at any moment you want to go back, fuck anybody. Don't let nobody hold you up to an expectation. Don't feel like you got to live any certain type of way. Live your life the way you want to, and always feel like everybody got to respect you. So when somebody disrespects you or you disrespected me, bitch, you tripping.
Right.
I came in here, queen. You fucking crazy.
That's right.
You just disrespected me. You're a peasant, and you gotta pay for that shit.
That's right.
And you make sure they do that, and you do everything in your power to make sure they do that. And then if it doesn't work out, bitch, you get violent. That's what I was
and
doing.
don't
Choose violence.
So you choosing violence is what you saying?
I will choose violence. You know that, right there. You know it. If it doesn't work out,
If you're making an option and you're making it the only option,
hey,
you know.
you put me there.
Yeah.
Put me there.
I know to take the pickles off of your cheeseburger.
Lawyer up.
God damn.
Because you teach people how to treat you ultimately in any situation. So if they feel so my supervisor, when I was first starting out with work, she told me one of the most poignant things that stay with me to this day. The first time you do something professionally is your most difficult time. You know, when you call out from work the first time, when you apply for a promotion the first time, when you challenge somebody, you know, higher than you, and you know you're right in that moment and you challenge them, the first time you do it is the most difficult. So if a person feels like I can come to you and say whatever the fuck I want, when I do it the first time, that's the most difficult time, because I don't know your reaction. I'm going in it completely blind. But once I know your reaction, and I'm like, oh, I put a feeler out, and she was like, all right, you know, whatever, fuck you, you're ignorant. Now I can say whatever I want, and I can cover it with ignorance. You know, there are a lot of people who are very ignorant of the LGBT plus community. They just don't know. So yes, they will come to you and ask you certain questions, but you know, when people are genuinely curious, like, you know, what pronoun? Should I call you she? Should I call you he? Should I call you them? Like, where are you in your journey? Because I want to respect that. That's from a good place. Somebody come, what are you and who are you today? Like, bitch, I will clock your T-zone and I'm going to push you into a corner because you're being disrespectful.
And it was crazy because, like, after all that happened, 3 months, he saw me, he walked the other way.
Because he knew
You
that.
didn't speak to him? He didn't speak?
It's just crazy. He would walk on, he'd be like, oh.
What
What was his name?
He knew that there was a
Wait.
So there's a window.
Please
once
don't
her
tell
husband-
Diana that guy's name, okay? She can look his ass up.
No, we're about to go across the way and
Or Craigslist. Or MySpace.
But people like that know that there's a window in which somebody can file a complaint. They can do some sort of a case or whatever. So he knew that if he said something, or he was disrespectful, or he made eye contact with you, he was gonna be like, you know what, today's the day. Fuck you, Peter. I am filing, and I'm doing it. Like, we live in a very lawyer-conscious society. You can literally go to McDonald's, put a cap on your coffee, not put it on all the way, put it in between your lap, drive, squeeze it with your leg, and sue the company for millions of dollars. That's where we are. So we are in a very legal society. So
I need to get me some coffee.
they got the warning label on the top.
Oh, shit, never mind.
Don't let no.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I tried.
But you know, I will
See,
say,
I tried to provide for my family by getting coffee on my thighs. It just backfired on me, but it's
coffee
okay.
blisters on your thighs.
She's like, I'm gonna burn myself with some tea. I can pay for college.
Hey, there's a plan.
Well, the money she get might have to cover her burn grafting. It's not worth it.
Hey, I'm back on child support. Let me go get some coffee. That's all I gotta
Your
do.
thighs, sis. You're not thinking it's through. But I will say, like with the LGBTQ plus community, being bisexual is, and that's where I am, that's where I live. However, I would never be in a relationship with a woman because, I could literally fight you. So I'm not trying to go there because, you know, I got mouth and I got hands. So what we doing is my question. So, like in my situation, it is more desirable to be bisexual because there's this air of, ooh, she gets down with the girls, or ooh, she might bring a girl home, or ooh, this, that, and the third, versus being, you know, a lesbian. And then there are degrees to your lesbianism, you know.
Really?
There are the lipstick lesbians who get all dressed up, dolled up, makeup, and then the other extreme is being,
Young and
you
A?
know, more of a dom or a dominant lesbian, you know, and they don't really get that same vibe or appeal because the men folk know I can't penetrate that, but they look at me as, oh, this is a fun time, you know. I can sleep with her. She can call one of her homegirls and be like, what we doing? It can be a whole yada, yada, yada. Sir, you can barely handle me. So we're not calling an empty one because you need to master home base before you go into the outfield. Let's be very clear.
And on that note, the lesbians on the other end that you call the, you know, I call them,
Lipstick?
not the lipstick, what's up?
Dominant.
The dime?
Yeah, we're doms.
I call y'all the fellas.
American.
Is that okay?
But like, see,
Can I call y'all the fellas?
like some are okay with that.
Dirty Mike and the boys?
But like, honestly, like, I'm still
Some, but not all.
Not all.
Right. I know some doms that still want to be like addressed as
Yes.
her. Female pronoun, they don't want to be considered
Exactly.
male. They'll get offended.
Yes.
You know, so I do know some.
because I'm still very feminine.
Right.
I am.
Yeah.
So, like, but I do just, you know, I'm a stud. But I have my feminine traits.
So the best way to
I feel
know,
like they're always gonna have feminine traits, bro.
yes,
Because you can't stop what you are, you know, and so you're always gonna have some type of emotion that is feminine if you was born a woman.
right.
What's that question people say? If a chicken lays an egg, where does it roll?
Oh, what came first, the chicken or the egg?
Nah, it's another one like that. I forgot what it was. It's this. I'm sorry, I can't remember.
You making up stuff.
Something like that. I can't remember.
You made that shit up. You never heard of it.
Something like see. This is a problem. My grandmother, Mildred Harris. That's why I can't remember. Because she told it to me. Matter of fact, it was another. Because you know what? It's a funny story, y'all. It has nothing to do with this. So I went to a problem with my grandma, and I said, Grandma, you know, I'm having this problem in high school, yada yada yada. Just let y'all know, she is not the best person for advice. So she told me, well, baby, the chicken trusted the devil, and the turkey flew away.
How the chicken go?
All right,
Did
so
the devil turn the chicken to a turkey?
Where
I have no. This is my grandmother. This is my
I
grandmother.
want to talk to her.
The
Did
chicken.
the devil turn the chicken into a turkey?
I have no clue. Do you? But the goddamn turkey came out of nowhere.
No, I hit a little J, have a conversation.
You don't need a J to talk to grandma. Grandma's on a J automatically. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Mildred Harris, man. But yeah, man.
But like, even like just sticking with the community, there are a lot of battles that people don't see that the LGBTQ plus community go through. And it comes down to you decided to be this way. You weren't born this way. You decided. But who in their right mind makes the decision to say, I'm going to wake up and be ridiculed for who I find attractive.
Right.
I'm going to risk getting my ass beat because I want somebody who looks like me.
Right.
I'm going to literally go to my parents, break their hearts because I chose this. You cannot, and this is what pisses me off about when men say, and it's mostly men, they say, oh, there's an agenda right now to push homosexuality. I cannot take a 6-inch penis and push it into a 100% straight man's face and he accept it today, tomorrow, for any amount of money, point blank, and the period. If he desires that 6-inch to 9.5, 10, 12, come on, Jesus penis, whew,
Speak your mind.
somewhere along the line, he wants it because he wants it. Nobody's pushing it on him. There's no amount of TV. There's no amount of rainbows. There's no tight pants. There's no cut-off shirts that can force you to desire your same sex. Not that you need to be repulsed by it, but there is a certain chemical reaction that occurs in your brain with attraction. You can't force attraction. Disney movies can't do it. Cartoons can't do it. Same-sex parent homes with kids in kindergarten and all that. You can't force that type of attraction. You can't. You cannot. Now, we can segue into a whole nother situation about keeping certain kids away from drunk Uncle Pete because Uncle Pete does certain things to children and may alter them another way, but that's a whole nother conversation that we can or cannot get into. But you cannot chemically alter people to be homosexual. So it pisses me off when people say that. The thing is that because society is more accepting of being who you are, more people are more comfortable with saying, you know what? I am this way. Or maybe I don't know who and what the hell I am right now, but I'm open to exploring the option. And if it's not killing you, if it's not hurting you, if they're not molesting anyone, if there's no bestiality, if there's no assaulting children, if there's no assaulting older people, why the hell do you care?
I think that it's not that they're specifically trying to say that it's an agenda on adults.
Speak up, honey.
But I feel like they may be concerned about the children who are viewing this and might not know. They are learning. This is how they learn, by witnessing, experiencing, seeing others. And if they are not fully developed, which a lot of these kids are not,
Right.
and they're just seeing something, they might take that into consideration without actually really knowing that that's how they are. They're just trying to experience. And I think that a lot of us as parents, we want to protect our children as much as possible. I do feel like it's some people who are, well, I'll say the majority, are probably born like that, I'm not sure though. So I would want to protect my child, When my brother came to me, my younger brother, he was 13. He had a little sweet, it was a circle. My aunt, my cousin, who was a stud, Taylor, and my brother, and I was like, oh, just in the days, I didn't even know what was going on. He just brought me into the room, and he's like, I want to tell you something. And I'm like, okay, what's going on? Why are we in this little circle? And my little brother was like, I just want to let you know I'm gay, and father made it very clear. My father made it clear. My grandfather made it clear that there's no gay men in this family, and the gays should be this. And they had a lot of hatred.
You know, the old school, they stuck in their ways.
When it came to men in general, they really didn't speak of women, which is crazy. Yeah, but I'm pretty sure he felt both ways. But when it came to men, it was like a big deal, and that's how I was raised. So when he first told me, I was like, I was sad for him. I was sad and I was scared. I just didn't want him to be looked upon as someone who was dirty or be someone attacking him because of his sexuality. I was really afraid because people were attacking people.
You weren't coming from a place of hate. You shouldn't be that. You were genuinely fearing what society was putting out of that's wrong. You shouldn't do that. And your thing was, oh my God, they're all going to see you as wrong. They're all going to say you shouldn't do that. Somebody might literally try to kill you because of your choice.
They were killing people back then.
Yes. They still do.
People.
They still do.
And it was I was afraid for them. You know?
So yours wasn't a lack of acceptance. Yours is more of a genuine fear for what's going to happen in his life now because he's professed his truth, which is totally different than you shouldn't do that. You can't do that. It's like, what's going to happen to you now that you've said this?
And now my father, he doesn't have a hate towards, because he's changed and got saved and stuff, but he definitely believes that, oh, God, you just got to pray this over. You're going to get through this, pray this demon off of you. That's how he feels. Yeah. It feels like he's going to get through this. Yeah. And I'm like, he's been gay since we were kids.
Right.
And now he's an adult. He's 30-something. My father still is like naive about it. Oh, he's just going through a phase.
Yeah, it's crazy. You know what's crazy? Touch on base with that because I was in I knew when I was in elementary school.
You knew before. You knew before.
I knew.
Her mother would put her in dresses at 7, 8 months, and she would bawl her freaking eyes out.
I knew it.
She hated being put in these frilly, girly, hated it. And her voice, has been very white since.
Wait a minute, what?
Since she was very white.
Who? But let me tell you something about Cheree. All right, let me say something about SANE, okay?
Oh my gosh.
I knew SANE was going to be gay, man. Since I don't know, 3rd, 4th goddamn grade.
We all knew before that.
She was wearing better FUBU outfits than me when I was in elementary school. She talking about yeah, so what you eat for lunch today? I heard they serving assorted pieces with onion rings. Like, why you walking on tough on me, man? I'm your blood. But I mean, you can just tell. You can just tell for certain people in certain families. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, it is what it is. You accept it, you move on.
I couldn't be myself though, for the longest time, because I had to hide it.
From certain people, yeah.
And I got middle school. This is a true fucking story. Middle school. I was talking that shit. I just get, back in the day was notes. Everybody notes.
Yes.
Pass the notes.
Everybody got carpet on them.
And I had a lot of notes from different girls. I used to I collected them in my shoebox, right? Or my shoebox overflow, I put it in my sock drawer.
Yes.
Right? And I didn't know my mother was going and taking my socks, because I love socks. I collect socks. Mm-hmm. She was taking my socks. She found some notes. Right? That happened. She was like, what the fuck is this? And I was like, what are you talking about? What you mean? What are you talking about? Yeah, that was a big blowout. And she was like, nah, my daughter's not gonna be gay. It's a phase. And I'm like, Mom, no, I like girls. This is who I am. No, it's a phase. No. That happened. Then I got into high school.
Shit got real.
I had a girlfriend, all that stuff, and she wasn't fucking with it. And then she kicked me out the house. I got kicked out. I moved with my dad for a little bit, and then she was like, nah, fuck that, you come back home. And then then I had to I literally called all of y'all. I was like, I gotta tell y'all something. I was crying.
And they was like we didn't know already.
They were like, we do. I was like, oh, okay.
Just like the brat, she just came out as a lesbian.
That was so funny.
Yeah.
I really thought it was like a joke scheme.
We knew the brat was gay. We already knew it. Like, I listened to the brat, yo.
Girl, you wear husky jeans. Like, we already knew.
Nah, but like
38 regular.
But I'm like now, my mom the coolest shit. That's my home, and she loves me for who I am.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? It took her a while, but she knows that I never changed. I'm always a sweet person. You know, big ass heart. I do anything for anybody. I'll never change that. So like, that's my bestie. You feel me? It took us a while to get there.
Yeah.
But like, our relationship is dope. But like, I'm glad that it happened that way. Cause like, if it didn't, like, I probably still like, you know, switch. I used to, I was a tomboy, so I switched like back and forth. Like I wear my girl clothes, wear my boy clothes. I was I had a, my figure was dope back then. So like I got chunky now. Shut up, COVID, weight, whatever. But I just didn't like how dudes looked at me. So that was a big thing. I had to cover it up, or just older men in general. I just didn't like it.
So creepy.
Yeah, so like that was a big thing because I didn't.
Men are creepy.
I didn't like. What is
Sorry.
Or like people like, oh yeah.
But they are.
I mean, we not
Like when like
creepy.
you see
I'm
you
so
having
sorry,
son
but I
over.
feel so uncomfortable around
Right.
men.
Like when somebody you haven't seen it while they be like, oh girl, you grew up. You really grew. Oh, like no.
Wait a minute, time out. Us men, hold on.
I said I'm sorry.
No, not that. Hey, listen, let me tell you something, okay?
What's up?
Us men, we experience the same thing. Like, oh, you grew up. Because there's been a lot of females a lot of ladies that I know that are much older than me that come to me like, oh, you done grew up real nice and strong. I always divert them too. We related, ain't we?
So
Tell you.
On the LGBT community, for the most part, honestly, I don't touch on it. I think it's, I don't want to say complicated and intricate, but in a sense it is, and I'm just really not interested in the in-depth. I care about people though, so I'm not gonna not give you a job because you're gay or because I don't give a shit. I don't care about any of that. I don't care about any of it. I do still feel like there is an agenda being pushed on the children, and more so, I don't like the fact that they will publicize and praise a gay black man before they will a straight black man. If a black man is just being a black man, he's toxic, he's too aggressive, he's this, but they'll push gay black men to the forefront. Here, this is a good example. This is a black man, So then you have a little boy who might not necessarily be gay, and I say this because I've seen it a lot, more than once, who might not necessarily be gay, but he wants to be the acceptable black man. And I've also seen this issue several times. I worked in a psych ward for 3 years. So he wants to be the acceptable black man. And I also have seen a lot where people will go to the gay community because they want to be accepted, and not necessarily because they're gay.
Right.
And then that brings about issues. I've seen people experience a lot of drug use because of that, because they're living a life that they're really not even comfortable with. So I don't care if someone's gay or not gay. I know there are a lot of laws and all that against it. I don't give a shit. It's a lot of other weird shit that happens. Yeah. Gay people should not be in the forefront. I don't care. But I do feel like every time it's like gay and over-sexual always go hand in hand. So that's why when I see homosexuality, I automatically have a problem with it. Because I never get to just see them love each other. It's always sex. It's always a gay man, I can take your man. Damn, bitch, respect me. Like, why you have to one up me? Why do you have to show me that you can be better than me, but you are a man, so now you're laughing at me? But come on, where's the peace? Why aren't people just loving each other, period, all the way around?
I got you.
And I'm not trying to, I don't care if he's a black gay man or a white gay man, Spanish, I don't
Say pussy.
If I see another talk
That
about his wet
shit
pussy,
irritates me so bad.
I'm going to be crazy.
Oh my God.
Shima, I told Shima that I didn't want to talk about this.
Wait a minute. I couldn't hear what you say.
This is fine. We vibing.
I don't mind anyone. I don't care what race it is, but if I hear another gay man talk about his wet pussy, I am going to go off.
And so I told Shima I wasn't going to touch on this subject, and it's because for me, I can come across very offensive to someone who is gay. But you would have to have an very detailed conversation to understand that it's not that, but it's exactly what she just said. I hate all the antics behind it. It's just like be normal because you are normal.
Man, look, I'm gonna be 100%. I want to be 100% honest, okay? Look, God damn it. How my mind works, sometimes I can be mature. But if I'm with one of my gay friends and he talking about some, man, my pussy hurt, I'm laughing, bro.
So that's why I feel like, or I know for me,
right.
That's why you make it like you're being abnormal.
That shit is
or
wild.
You're making it a
in
joke.
my opinion, that
why
shit is wild.
Why are you doing that? That's unnecessary. And are you even in reality? Because you do not have a pussy.
Right.
And you don't need to have a pussy. You are a gay man, and it is okay.
Yes.
You don't need to be a woman. It is okay to love a man as a man if that's what you want to be. In your mind, you don't have to think that you have a pussy to accept yourself.
Right.
To really accept yourself. I feel like they run around, and I'm gonna say they are so fucking apologetic.
Some of them.
I feel like a lot of gay people run around just trying to one up straight people. And a lot of straight people will fuck with gay people just because they're gay and all of that as well. But anytime that you say something or say what your problem is, oh, you're homophobic.
Right.
You're homophobic. Right. That's the like that. You come on now. Seriously, I can't even discuss an issue with you.
Right.
The first thing you do, and then cancel culture comes in, and everyone's a follower anyway. So as soon as now, oh, she called her homophobic. But I don't want to touch that. No one wants to touch that because that's a sensitive subject. So they'll automatically say, yeah, she homophobic. Instead of truly addressing the issue, because everyone's scared to touch that because nobody wants to be the person that is homophobic, just like nobody wants to be the racist. Doesn't mean you're not.
Right.
But doesn't mean you're not homophobic, but no one wants to be that. So a lot of innocent people get caught in a line fight. So what happens, right? So now, bitch, you make me pick a side. Because you just called me homophobic when I wasn't.
Right.
You just made me pick a side. I ain't gay, so then fuck you.
Right.
So that's how it goes. The same thing that happens with racism a lot of times, because people often want to compare the two, which I won't get into that.
Absolutely
But yeah, but that's what happens. So I feel like there needs to be change, and of course the straight, which is so weird, straight community, gay community, motherfucker, we is our community. You with your weird ass, we just all together. Why y'all breaking it down like that? Everybody, you keep breaking it down and putting everybody into boxes, and then saying we need to come together. How?
Right.
We breaking everybody down too much, but on both ends. There needs to be honesty, respect, because I don't have to accept you. That's just the bottom line.
And let me say a couple things real quick. Well, if your coochie hurt, go get that shit checked.
Okay.
And besides that, this is going to be the end segment of the visual for this podcast. If you want to listen to more, go check out the links that I have on my page. But like I said, this is the end of the visual. You want to check more out, you want to listen to the rest of it, go to my link tree. I'm available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube.